A military veteran and contractor has suggested that the drones seen over the United States in recent weeks are hunting a broken arrow. Wait to hear this. John Ferguson, the founder of Saxon Unmanned, claims the drones are being used in the search for a rogue nuclear warhead believed to have been smuggled into the United States. Ferguson stated that the only reason why you would ever fly an unmanned aircraft at night, is if you're looking for something. He speculated that the object of this search is a lost nuclear warhead, potentially hidden somewhere along the United States eastern coast. Ferguson said that there are about 80 nuclear warheads that were in Ukraine that came up missing. We don't know where they are. He also recounted the conversation with an individual who claimed to have direct knowledge of one such warhead. Ferguson said, "I spoke to a gentleman a few months ago who was trying to raise an alarm to the highest levels of our government about this one particular nuclear warhead that he physically put his hands on." John Ferguson was told that his source had physical contact with a nuclear warhead from Ukraine and was convinced it was en route to the United States of America. He pointed out that drone cameras have limited use at night, but thermal sensors and sniffer devices can detect radiation sources on the ground. Could the United States government be deploying a fleet of drones to sniff out a radiation source on the ground? Could the Pentagon have ignored these warnings and are now discreetly trying to locate a nuclear bomb on American soil? And now we are faced with the possibility of a smuggled Soviet-era nuclear warhead in the United States via Canada. This is hypothetical, but the investigation of the drone surveillance is ongoing. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 was a pivotal moment in world history. It marked the end of the Cold War, but simultaneously gave rise to a plethora of security concerns, particularly regarding the fate of the vast Soviet-era nuclear arsenal. Ukraine, a former Soviet republic, inherited a significant proportion of these weapons, raising fears of loose nuclear materials. Given the chaos that ensued during this transition, the possibility of nuclear weapons being misplaced, stolen or smuggled became a pressing international issue. At the time of the Soviet Union's dissolution, Ukraine found itself in possession of the third largest nuclear arsenal in the world, comprising approximately 1,900 strategic nuclear warheads and countless tactical nuclear warheads. Ukraine eventually agreed to denuclearise in exchange for security guarantees under the 1994 Budapest Memorandum. The early 1990s were marked by chaos and economic collapse. During this period, concerns emerged that some warheads, materials and technologies could have been sold on the black market or fallen into the wrong hands. The disarray of Soviet Union record keeping further exasperated fears. The lack of precise accounting created opportunities for opportunistic individuals or groups to smuggle nuclear materials out of the region. Given Ukraine's proximity to Europe and the Atlantic trade routes, the smuggling of such a device to North America cannot be categorically ruled out in this hypothetical scenario. The United States-Canada border is the longest international border in the world, spanning over 5,500 miles. Despite modern technological advancements and joint border security efforts, it remains a challenging boundary to fully secure. Smuggling operations involving drugs, people and contraband have long exploited its vast and remote stretches. In this theoretical case, a Soviet-era nuclear warhead could have been transported across the Atlantic, concealed within cargo or private vessels, and then moved overland into the United States via Canada. Canada's relatively open trade networks, its numerous ports, and its vast wilderness make it an ideal transit point for covert operations. Criminal organisations with established smuggling routes could feasibly facilitate the transportation of such a device. Given that Soviet-era warheads are compact compared to earlier generations of nuclear weapons, the logistical challenges of concealment and transport are not insurmountable. In the past decade alone, drones have become ubiquitous tools for military, intelligence and law enforcement operations. The increasing presence of unmanned aerial vehicles across North America have sparked speculation and concerns about their purpose. In the context of this hypothetical scenario regarding nuclear warheads, drones may be actively searching for a missing nuclear warhead. We may have a broken arrow on American soil. The drone's abilities to cover large swathes of land and identify anomalies makes them particularly well suited for nuclear detection missions. Equipped with radiation sensors, thermal cameras and advanced data analytics, drones can pinpoint sources of radiation or detect signs of nuclear material. The sudden spike in drone activity, particularly in regions near the United States-Canada border or areas with critical infrastructure, may signal a clandestine effort to locate and recover a rogue nuclear warhead. The presence of a smuggled nuclear warhead within the United States borders would represent an unparalleled threat to national security. Even a small tactical nuclear weapon, if detonated, could cause catastrophic loss of life, economic collapse and irreparable societal disruption. Beyond the immediate devastation, such an event would have profound global repercussions, potentially triggering conflicts or international crises. If drone surveillance is, in fact, part of a covert government operation to locate this hypothetical warhead, it would suggest that intelligence agencies possess credible leads regarding its existence and location. And this raises broader questions about intelligence sharing, international cooperation, and the extent of preparedness for such scenarios. The collapse of the Soviet Union created a unique set of challenges, including the safeguarding of a vast nuclear arsenal. While Ukraine successfully dismantled its inherited nuclear weapons, the chaotic period in the early 1990s left open the possibility that some materials or warheads could have been smuggled out of the region. The use of drones to search for such a warhead underscores the evolving nature of modern surveillance and national security operations. Whether this hypothetical situation reflects reality or not, it serves as a sobering reminder of the lingering risks posed by the Cold War's nuclear legacy and the importance of robust international safeguards to prevent nuclear proliferation and terrorism.